Welcome to the Mid-Ohio Valley Public Forum video podcast. This podcast features issues of interest to the residents of the Mid-Ohio Valley area. The coronavirus pandemic has changed civic life greatly throughout our country.
This is an election year, and one of the things that's changed is that candidates are not able to get out there and campaign the way they normally would. You generally see them at the fairs and festivals and civic events, meeting and greeting and shaking hands. They can't do that right now.
So many of our initial podcasts will be interviews with candidates for local and state offices who appear on the primary ballot. If you're a candidate and you're interested in being interviewed, you can reach out to us through our Facebook page, that's the MOV Public Forum, or via email to movpublicforum@gmail.com.
Today we'll be interviewing Trish Pritchard. Trish is running for the West Virginia House of Delegates, District 10. Welcome, Trish. We're so glad you could join us this afternoon.
Oh, and thank you, Jen and Kim, for doing this. It's a great public service in this election.
We're glad to have you. With that, give us your best 1-minute introduction pitch speech.
Well, 1 minute. Oh, that's tough.
More than 60 words.
That's true. That's true. I've been a Wood County resident my entire life. I had graduated from Parkersburg High School. I went on to college at Parkersburg Community College back then and on to Marshall. And I eventually went back and finished my degree at Wheeling Jesuit after I'd already gone back to work and started a family, which was a really big challenge. Speaking of family, my husband, Ron, we've been married 33 years. We've raised 2 Eagle Scouts, Nathan and Ryan, who went on to become mechanical engineers. As you can tell, we're pretty proud of them. I worked at DuPont for 36 years. 36 years. I started out as an operator. And back then that really wasn't easy to be an operator, but really the pay was really, really good back then. And I went on from there to be a supervisor. And then I really fought for fairness for employees and management my whole career. And I went on to get into human resources, and I was in human resources when I retired. And that was 4 years ago. And I've had a lot of fun since I retired, but I miss fighting. I miss fighting for fairness. And so that's why I'm here.
Well, Trish, all candidates are different. So you've touched on it a little bit already, but what skills, experience, education, perspective, what do you bring to the table that sets you apart from the other candidates for the House of Delegates?
Well, I think it's been amazing as I've talked to people and as I've read more and more about the issues that we're facing right now, the more I realize that my skill set as in human resources really prepares me to analyze policy, problem solve, bring diverse perspectives together to build consensus, compromise in a way that, as I said, solves problems in a way where all stakeholders' perspectives are representative, and you end up with better solutions, practical solutions that are fair to everybody. And I did that my whole career. I know how to do it. And I'm trained and experienced in it. And I really think that skill set goes a long way towards legislating.
Well, that sounds like that may parlay right into the next one. What's your main motivation that made you decide that this was the year to step up and run for office?
Well, I think the last few years have been really challenging. And I have talked to my friends and family and tried to encourage them to get involved. I said, everybody's got to get off the sidelines and get involved, educate yourself. You can't just sit back anymore. And I had several of my friends challenge me, and I had to put my money where my mouth is, so to speak. And even though I was scared at first, especially when I actually put in my send in my pre-qualification papers, but my friends and family encouraged me, and so this is the year. I think it's going to be a challenging election, but I want to set an example for my boys and my friends and family and my neighbors, and that we can get involved. Put your name out there. And if you don't want to put your own name out there, help somebody else, help somebody else's campaign, get involved, educate yourself. And as I've told my campaign team, this is going to be an education for all of us. We're all first timers, except for my friend Brenda. And she's a big help because she has experience. But for the most part, we're all learning as we go.
So Trish, what do you think is your wow factor? What is the one thing that would make someone say, wow, I'm going to vote for her?
Well, and this is what's so challenging right now when we can't meet people in person. I have a lot of enthusiasm. I have a lot of energy. And so when I meet people face to face in person, I think people can sense that I have a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy for things they care about. And I like to listen and understand what people are concerned about, and I love to listen to their ideas, and I miss that. And so this forum that you all are doing is an awesome way for me to at least try to get that out remotely.
So if you're elected, tell us one thing you really want to accomplish during your term in office.
Well, I could make some big statements about, big issues that we all care about, education and jobs and a living wage. But I want to give you an example of something that the more I've thought about it, the more I think really is a great example of things that we can get done to help people, no matter how small. A friend of mine, when he found out I was campaigning, he said, I'll tell you what, Trish, if you can get something done about this vehicle inspection we have to get done every year, if you get something done about that vehicle inspection requirement, I'll vote for you. And I laughed and I thought, vehicle inspections, what the heck? Well, the more I thought about it and the more I listened to my friend, I realized that, that's something we all take for granted, right? We just have to go to the hassle of, no matter whether we've had our car inspected 2 or 3 times that year, we have to go in and get it inspected and get that sticker every year. Even though the cars right now, the automobiles for years now have been very reliable, the quality is excellent, and you have, a whole different situation. But the same rule is in place for everybody in the state that drives a car. So when you take that example, you say, well, why is that in place? Why don't we question that? Why don't we do the research on when that regulation was put in place, why it was put in place, and look at the current situation? And it may be we can make everybody in the state's lives easier by modifying that one regulation on vehicle safety inspections. That's just an example. It's a small example, but we can all relate to it. We can all relate to it. And I know, we'll probably get into the bigger issues as we speak, but I just wanted to give that example of the approach, the problem-solving approach to improving the everyday lives of West Virginians.
Well, state legislatures can be incubators for new policies and novel solutions. And in fact, Supreme Court Justice Louis Brandeis once said, quote, "A single courageous state may, if its citizens choose, serve as a laboratory and try novel social and economic experiments without risk to the rest of the country." Are there any novel experiments that you would like to try if you're elected aside from the car,
The vehicle inspection.
you mentioned.
Well, I think that's so true that if states will look at themselves as an incubator, just as a small company can be entrepreneurial and question the status quo and disrupt, basically disrupt industries, that's what can happen in a state. I think it's important to understand that, and it's really more of a cultural phenomenon. I think if we elect enough people in the legislature that have that spirit of wanting to question why we've always done things the way we have, come up with new ideas to try in a way that makes sense. I mean, I think that's the point, is we have to have enough people down there in Charleston that look at things that way. One of the things that I think, one of the issues that we were confronted with in this last session was there was a huge push to get rid of a tax, a manufacturing inventory tax. And I met with one of the people working for the Manufacturers Association for about 2 hours and tried to understand why they wanted to shift that tax burden. And my big question was, where are we going to shift that tax burden? And he couldn't tell me the answer to that. He said that wasn't his problem to solve. I said, well, then how can we shift the tax burden if we don't know where we're going to get the revenue replacement? Which made sense to me, and I'm a novice at this, right? But I think when you take a look at our tax structure, and the thing is with a tax structure, what you're doing is you're incentivizing some behavior and you're disincentivizing other behavior. And so you have to look at it as a whole system, you know? And so to me, one of the key things is our tax system, and it matters to everybody, just like the vehicle inspection. We're all impacted by our tax system.
So what do you see as the 3 largest problems facing West Virginia, and do you have a plan for dealing with them?
Oh, well, how long do you have?
Nutshell plan.
In a nutshell, I think my top 3 focus areas have been to understand what we can do to improve our education system in the state. And I started out talking to so many of my friends are teachers, and so it was easy for me to get input and on their perspective on what we need to do for our education system. I think it's important to understand that how we fund teachers' pay and benefits is important. Permanently funding teacher benefits is critical. And I think it's really important to work with the teachers on the curriculum rather than have mandates from on high on what the best curriculum is. I think so education is critical to success. It's foundational. And then you move into, after you've prepared young people for jobs, you need to have jobs. You need to have good paying jobs for them to be prepared for. And I think that's where you end up with the importance of a living wage. So being able to have a schedule for minimum wage increases is critical. We need to really build out our job base so that we increase good paying union jobs. So critical. And one of the things that have really hurt us in that respect is when they implemented right to work. And as and it's easy for me to come up with the slogan about that. Right to work is wrong. It's wrong for West Virginia. We need to have good paying union jobs. And then to round that out, I think it's really important, that we be able to make West Virginia attractive for our young people to stay here. And that's critical. So if we have good paying jobs where they can stay, and that's selfish on my part, because I want my my boys to be able to stay here. I want them to be able to stay here and have a good job and live close by. Oh, was that two?
2, 3.
I'll talk for an hour.
We'll get your top 10.
Oh my heavens. Well, I think the other thing, and this is a sad one, because I get excited and energized about talking about education and jobs, but we have to prioritize our healthcare. And when you look at our healthcare system, and this our current crisis with the virus has just highlighted how important it is to have good health care and to improve the health of all West Virginians. We are the most at-risk state in the country. The most at-risk state, and you're like, oh, how can that be? Well, it is. That's a fact. So how you can improve West Virginians' health, and within that framework, how can we make sure that our addiction recovery resources are adequate, our mental health resources are adequate, and that starts in the schools. We have to have nurses in our schools. We have to have mental health professionals, counselors in our schools. It's so important, and we have to prioritize that. And I'm really, really concerned that as we face this huge budget shortfall that's looming over us, that if we aren't careful, we're going to hurt the very foundational elements that we need to build a better West Virginia.
Well, Trish, we're often our own harshest critics. So this is a two-part question. What do you see as your worst quality?
Oh.
And what do you see as your best quality?
Well, it's easy for me to come up with my worst quality. I can be somewhat disorganized because I am a high energy, enthusiastic person. My attention span can somewhat be short, and I get distracted, and I'm squirrel. And so trying to stay on task and stay focused is probably one of my greatest challenges.
So best quality.
Oh, well, I think my best quality is the flip side of that. I have all the energy, enthusiasm, and excitement. I have a lot of passion for the things I care about. And that, as I told you before, that's why I'm running. I have a lot of passion for West Virginia, a lot of passion for my home, Wood County, my friends and neighbors.
With that, you've made it through the gauntlet. The next set of questions are get to know you questions. So these are about you, the person, not the candidate. If you had to list your favorite place or thing in our state, not the people, we all love West Virginians, but they're not a thing or a place, what would you say? Well,
one of our favorite places to go in West Virginia is to go down to the New River, down to the New River Gorge, and hang out up in it's just beautiful down there. The mountains are incredible, and you've got the whitewater rafting and the hiking and the camping, and we have a lot of fun. That's our favorite place in West Virginia.
So Trish, what are your own personal core values?
Well, my core values, they're informed by my faith. And I really believe that my core value is that we are to love one another. We are to treat each other as we want to be treated. We treat our neighbors as we want to be treated. And I firmly believe that if we can keep those guardrails, and fundamental guardrails of decency in mind as we talk about our policy changes, as we talk about how we want to change West Virginia for the better, that'll keep us down the right road. And, coupled with honesty and fairness. Honesty and fairness. I think those three things, we love each other. We treat each other like we want to be treated. And I expect people to be honest with me. I'll be honest with them. And I am a firm believer in fairness. Treat each other fairly.
So what are you as an individual passionate about?
Oh my, well, I love music. I love music. I'm on the West Virginia Symphony Parkersburg board, and I work hard on that with all the other board members and the Symphony League to bring music to Wood County. We bring the symphony up from Charleston. We have 5 concerts every season, and then we bring that music into the schools for the children. And I love that. I love the looks on a young person's face when they hear a symphony orchestra for the first time. I sing with the Parkersburg Choral Society, and I don't sing well, but they let me sing with them. And that has been a real blessing for me. Really, really enjoy that. And I really miss that terribly while we're all at home. And so that's my real passion outside of my family is being able to experience good music and to be able to attempt to sing it.
Well, you've kind of answered the next question already, but I'll ask it in case you'd like to add to it.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
What do you like to do in your off time?
Oh, well, we have a farm down on the Ohio River, and we moved into town. So we have a home base here in Parkersburg now. And so one of my very favorite things in the last couple of weeks is to go down to the farm and hang out with my oldest son and his fiance. And she's given me writing lessons. Can you believe that? And just enjoy sitting on the river. And that's one of my very favorite things to do to unwind outside of the whirlwind of trying to campaign virtually.
This may be the hardest question we've asked. What's most unique about you?
Most unique about me versus what? Versus other candidates?
Well, I've made the joke that my thing is that I can say all 50 states and all 55 counties in less than 1 minute.
Oh my, I don't have anywhere. I have no talent anywhere close to that. No talent anywhere close to that. Oh,
pretty useless talent.
No, but
it's pretty unique.
It's unique. It is a unique talent. Oh, well, this would be an interesting thing to ask people that knew me. Well, maybe not. Maybe best not to ask that. Well,
another way to ask the question is, what's something that surprises people when they find out about you?
Oh my. I think sometimes I'm kind of a nerd. I spend a lot of time on Twitter, and I spend a lot of time doing research, and I love Excel spreadsheets. I mean, I just do. I love data analysis and Excel spreadsheets. So that's probably a kind of a unique thing that you wouldn't suspect unless you had some reason for me to say, oh, let me go show you this.
Show you my spreadsheets.
I get some rolled eyes. Yeah. So yeah, that's probably pretty unique. Yeah.
Well, with that, we've come to the end. We'd like to give you a few minutes to tell us and the voters anything you think we've missed that we need to know, including how to get more information on your campaign, how to get involved, get in touch with you, donate, volunteer, etc.
Well, I want to thank you all again for doing this. This is a public service that we all need right now, and you've stepped up to the plate. I think it's important right now, vitally important, that we get educated, we educate ourselves on the issues, we take the time to get to know our candidates and what they stand for, what they believe in. I can come up with all kinds of great ideas that I think up. I think it's more important for somebody who is working for you, the voter, to get your ideas, to get your priorities, to understand what you care about, and pull that together into policy ideas that make sense. So whether we're talking about education, jobs, climate change, whatever issue you talk about, I think it's how you address those issues, how you generate ideas, how you implement solutions that matter. The how is as important, sometimes more important than the what. I think that's critical to understand. So you want to elect people that will listen to you, that will listen to your ideas, listen to your concerns, your issues, and care, basically care. I think if we can all elect people that will do that, we can build a better West Virginia. We can build a better Wood County because we can work together. We can work together with everybody that cares, everybody that's involved, the experts that we can tap, and we can come up with the best ideas and figure out how to implement the best solutions. So what I want to pledge to Wood County is that I will work for you. I will work to I will work to protect your health care. I will work to protect your jobs. I will fight for a living wage. I will fight for fairness in our policies. And I appreciate your support. And if you would like to know more, I have started posting videos on Facebook, and I'm going to load our webpage up with a few of them. And so you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter at hashtag TrustTrishWV, and follow us along on our campaign. As I said before, we're learning how to do this, and we appreciate any ideas you have, and we appreciate all the support that you can give.
All right. Well, Trish, we want to thank you so much for coming and talking to us this afternoon. It's been great getting to know you and getting the information out to the voters. So thank you. And everyone, remember, wash your hands.
That's right. Thank you.
Thanks, Trish.